Welcome back to part 2 of my Ditch Witch R40 project. If you want to get familiar with this project of mine, go see part 1. The object of part 1 was to, as I trailered at home, just get it running here on the trailer. The intent of part 2 was to then drive it off the trailer under its own power. But I did pull back on that just simply because this thing has no brakes. I don't know what the clutch situation is like, and if something were to happen as it's going down the trailer, I have very limited amount of space to shut it down without something happening. So I think I pulled back on that already, and I think I'm going to pull it off the trailer and at least take it into the open space. And that way, as I'm getting it to move, then if something happens, then I can shut it down and not damage anything or hit a house or a garage or fall off the trailer or anything in that nature. So I think it's a safer choice. But as we get into part 2, from part 1, I did go ahead and fill up the reservoir with hydraulic fluid. I took the screen out, unbolted everything, cleaned it up, took the screen out. There's a bunch of crap at the bottom. So I cleaned that up, put it back together, filled it up. I did start it and cycled the steering wheel back and forth, and I was able to get the steering wheel, or the wheels straight with the steering wheel with the hydraulics. So wheels are straight, ready to go down the ramps of the trailer. When I get to that point, I did not try any of the other levers. I didn't want to run the engine any longer than I needed to, because it hasn't had an oil change, and who knows what the condition of the oil looked like. It did have oil in it. I'm sure it was old. I did take the filter off just to get a number, and I'm just got a bucket on it, covered it because it won't be here until tomorrow. So if it rains overnight or something, it's covered. I did have to take the alternator off to access the drain plug. So, and it wasn't charging, so I went ahead and just took it off, and might take it somewhere to get tested or whatnot. But that's kind of where I'm at right now, and we'll update as needed here. Little sludgy. All right, I stuck that wire into the drain plug hole and got all that sludge started moving, and I just put, I don't know, maybe a quarter of a quart, maybe half a quart in, just to start pushing this stuff out. And just now, clean oil's running out. You can see the chunks flowing out with it. So I'm gonna burn a bunch of oil, keep filling it, and hopefully flush as much as I can out from underneath the engine, and try to get that sludge out. So wish me luck. All right, just a quick update. I did go ahead, flushed all that oil out, put the new oil filter on. I had 2 of them ordered, so my intent is to fill it up, run it, and then change the oil again. So I had it running earlier this morning, and then I needed to fix some linkage. So I got all the throttle linkage. So after I had it running, I shut it off, fixed all the throttle linkage, added new springs, cleaned everything up, took it to a wire wheel, went to go start it again, and it just kind of a slow, maybe 1 revolution, and then died and just now clicks. So after looking at that sludge in the engine oil, two things happen. Worst case, catastrophic. It's the little bit of time that I had it running sucked up all that sludge and wouldn't allow oil to pass through, and it just slowly created a lot of friction, and now it's potentially locked up. Or two, the starter is starting to fail from this long of time of sitting. So I did take the starter off, and thankfully all it was either the starter and or solenoid. I'll replace both, but as you can tell, nothing. So starter out, that's what it did. Just click, click. So I'll probably take a pry bar just to spin the flywheel over, just to be safe. But one more thing to fix. So I'll somehow get a starter replaced or rebuilt, put that back in, and see what happens from there. Okay, we have a quick update. So I took that starter out. From the last update, it was already out, and I was able to rotate the flywheel by hand, and it actually rolled over real easy by hand. Took the starter and the alternator to a local guy 20 minutes away, and he rebuilt the starter, the alternator. Haven't tried the alternator yet, but I went ahead and replaced the solenoid and redid all the wiring to the key. I know I mentioned that in the previous video, but there were so many wires. You can see here a lot of wires they were all broken in spots, and didn't know if there was something grounding out. So went ahead and just hardwired everything, all new wires, just to eliminate that. Added another ground from the starter to the battery, and so got that all complete, and she does turn over and fire. But I did have one problem. The battery was weak, so it was still clicking, so I had to go out and buy a new battery charger. And next, we'll put the alternator on after I flush this oil out. I had it running, 5 minutes, and she runs really well. I did go ahead and replace the key ignition cylinder too, or key switch. And now I did play around with some of the levers, and the boom works. The back trencher goes up and down. So I'm hooked up to the trailer. I think I'm gonna move it out here somewhere and attempt to roll it off the trailer and unload it and see what the gears look like. There, I got the machine turned around. I'm just going to put it in the rocks. That way, I know it leaks hydraulic fluid, so I'd rather have it leak in the rocks than in the grass. So I'm slowly using come along and slowly letting her roll down the ramps. I got it pulled off the trailer with my small tractor up to a point where gravity will start taking effect now. So I will continue slowly but surely being safe and walking it off the trailer. All right, she moves under its own power and goes through the gears. I did get the trencher to operate. Also did the crowd control. Once the trencher's operating, it is just very slowly moving. I'll start it here in a minute. Everything works, surprisingly. So the backhoe, the outriggers, and then, like I said, the trencher I already tested, but I'll show you here real quick. and that was a cold start. Didn't even come out here and start it before the video, so everything works. I do have quite a few. You can see the hydraulic cylinders leaking. I have a ton of hydraulic oil leaking from where this blade used to be, so I'll need to somehow fix that. A lot of fluid leaking there, and on the controls to the blade or the trencher. But besides just a little maintenance, everything works. I did take the master cylinder off. I need to get that rebuilt, and the caliper, just so I have brakes. But I think she'll live to see another trenching day. So that is it for part 2. I don't think I'm going to do any more updates, but this thing is nearly ready to go trenching again. Thanks for watching.